Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised. And this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul. And we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the Earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become. In being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 331st One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, here on Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I will be host once again in this continuous weekly series of workshops that's been ongoing for over 6 years now. And once again, we have the pleasure of being joined with members of the Universal Council and support members, and they will be presenting today's show. So let's get that ready to go and begin the program.
Thank you, Rick. And we welcome each and all to this One Planet, One Nation, One Race program. And this is where we are establishing peace through our wish. Again, through energies and seeing it manifest in the matter state. So if it's your wish to see peace, feel free to unite your wishes with our wishes and join us in this process of bringing, as we heard in the video, it's time for change to move. And this is what we're doing, but we're not physically interacting to create that change, at least at this moment. We're using our energies to do that. And we're finding out what powerful energies we have in our structure. So if you're hearing this today or you're hearing this in the future, and you can become an active participant in this peace process. There are offerings which we'll cover today about practicing the transmutation sessions and joining other groups on the soul level for the elevation of all souls on this planet. So it's a beautiful time, and this mystery of the matter state of the entity is being opened up, all of us. It's being opened up to our energies. We thought we were powerless, but we are quite powerful in this process. And you're wondering, if you look out and you can see what's going on in the world today, you know, the need is greater than it's ever been in the past. I think we've, or very close to being equal to that, where we need to elevate the souls of world leaders and their controllers. Most of these leaders are just spokespeople. So we're doing this process through our energies, or what we call the soul, or what we call the center. And you're all welcome to be part of this and become active in this process. We know we have about 190 nations. So how are we going to get to well, we have one planet, but how are we going to get to one nation? One race. And what Mr. Keshe has been proposing in the recent period, and what you'll see happening in some of the conferences that are coming up, like, for example, China, a past conference that just happened, where they showed the creation of CH4, or methane, just out of the fields. There was no tapping into the earth or anything like that. So these are the same sort of principles that are being shown in the upcoming conferences. But again, how can we break down these borders to form one nation for peace? And Mr. Keshe is proposing we show world leaders and other influential people the ability of our structure, or any structure of any entity on this planet, to be able to transmute, to change your map location, to actually move this entity, this energies, this physicality into a different location. And this, whether it's shown in Iran or Washington, the upcoming conferences, will embed within world leaders and other influential people the realization that borders have now become obsolete, because we've opened up the matter state of the entity to its energies. So join us on this peace train. You can become interactive every day, and you can contribute to this process. And we welcome you to do that. As we understand, it's a collective process with all of us. So the more we have operating in this manner, the quicker we will see, most likely, things and peace manifest in the matter state. So thank you all, and please continue on your journey for peace as we join together to bring the change that's so sorely needed at this point on this planet. And again, it's not the end all, that's just the next step in uniting with our greater family, our larger family, which we refer to as the universal community. Again, coming from the same creator as you. So I think we can move forward, Rick. Thank you for that. And thank you for hosting this program as well, continually.
Hello, everyone, at this beautiful summer day. Andrea is speaking, support member from the German community. Now we present our weekly wishes with our good thoughts and words. So we change the plasma fields for every soul on Earth. We, the Universal Council, wish that the participants in the special transmutation preparation session at the 21st of June, all together for themselves and mankind, reach the point of transmutation with the knowledge of creation and the unique technology of Mr. Keshe. All souls are in position.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, wish that man does not lie to himself or others.
We are present.
Hello, dear souls, all around our beautiful planet Earth. Wish also a warm welcome. It's me, Jacko, Universal Council member and representative of the Dutch language. Please allow your soul to open up and interconnect with the other souls who join us. We find a comfortable position to relax and to support our physicality. We breathe in and out slowly through our nose. We expand our soul far beyond the boundaries of Earth. We connect to all souls working on peace, the knowledge seekers, the Universal Council soul, to our universal family, and the systems that support us to learn to expand our soul. To Mr. Keshe, and we thank him for his love for humanity. To Mitra in the beauty of manifestation. And to our Creator in the love of his creation. We do it through the dome of peace. And in thoughts, we reach out to hold each other's hands, to exchange, and to share our unconditional love to whoever is in need. We do it in silence. Now we slowly come back and we thank all the souls participating in this interconnection, in the manifestation of peace on earth. Thank you. You can go to the next slide, please.
And if you enjoyed the process we just went through for the last number of minutes, please feel free to join the Keshe family and the Universal Council family in unifying at the soul level every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time. And of course, you'd have to calculate, and this applies to summer and winter, so it doesn't matter whether it's CET or CEST, but you'll have to recalculate your time. I'm in the Eastern time zone in the United States, so for me, this would be at 3 p.m. And we collectively work in the same process we just experienced for the elevation of the souls of humanity, of world leaders, of world religious leaders, and especially their controllers in the background, behind the curtain. As we understand, many of these leaders are just spokespeople, and they're operating on behalf of another structure in so many ways. So we're reaching both. We're reaching the world leaders, we're reaching the religious leaders, and we're reaching those who operate for centuries, let's say, behind the curtain. So every day at this time, ask your soul to remind you, we're joining collectively in this process. Again, we're using our wishes, our energies, our centers, the triangle, if you want to call it that, however you want to refer it. But collectively, we're much more powerful. So that's why this process is happening collectively. And you can also join the Brazilian team who are doing daily intentions and intentions on Wednesday at different times at keshbrazil.com. And you can join them in a physical meeting. But these meetings are actually on the energy level where we all unite collectively. And we're giving, these leaders need fields. And I was just thinking of Mr. Keshe, what he said, you're a plasma traveling in space and you come into contact with another plasma and you can sense that that entity needs fields. So in a way, we're pre-staging or learning how to give and also to receive from other entities. And so this process of giving, of supporting, of elevating other souls, elevating humanity will come into play as we become the passengers of the universe. Again, not in UFOs and not in rockets, but on the dimension of energy. And this is what's been so strange to most of us. We think we're just physical creatures, only operating in the physical domain, but we have another energy within us, which we call sort of a plasma energy in a way. There's no physicality involved. And this is the process we're going through, learning to use those energies to touch other souls, to elevate other souls, even to elevating our own souls. So every day at this time, collectively, we join together. And you could take a nanosecond, you can take 1 minute or 5 minutes, whatever fits into your schedule. And again, the physicality not being involved, you can be working, you can be driving, you can be making dinner for the family or whatever, and just add your fields, almost like building a very beautiful bouquet. And when we reach the tipping point, we will see the changes manifest in the matter state when we reach that level of energy collectively. As we know, the universal community could do it in the flick of a finger, but then it would seem like magic. And of course, after a generation or two, we never keep the permanent peace. So please feel free to join us. You'll not only elevate others, but in this process, you become nourished, you become elevated. And it's open to everyone. And the most beautiful part about this is Mr. Keshe said, nobody fails this test. So consider yourself successful. And build that trust within yourself, which is lacking in so many ways within all of us. I know with the transmutation process, Mr. Keshe informed us that 90% of our problem is a lack of trust. And it's only 10%, which is the knowledge to do it. So we're moving in this direction collectively. Again, you can do it at any time you'd like, but collectively we're meeting at the 9 p.m. CEST. So ask your soul to bookmark it in a way. I've been so amazed in my structure that many times I'll forget it's coming up and all of a sudden it's 5 of 3 or 5 after 3. I look at the clock and I say, let me join the others in this process. And of course, you can do it on your own individually as well. I'm sure that's what will happen in so many ways when you're traveling across the universe. You'll sort of be that last plasma standing and have to learn how to give and to receive fields. And this is what the process is all about. So feel free to join us. It's a beautiful process. And again, by nurturing, you become nurtured and elevated in this whole process and understand the real work of the universe and using the power you possess. So thank you. Anyone else want to add anything to this comments I've made, to the comments I've made? Feel free. Otherwise, I guess we will move to the next slide.
Yes, this is Masek, and I will add a little bit to what Mark was just talking about engaging the soul. One of the important aspects, which Mark touched on very well, is developing the trust in our soul's ability. And in doing so, we have to focus on what we want to achieve by engaging our soul. We can participate with other souls in the soul connection process together to manifest what others are thinking, and we can have our own contribution, on our own direction in the way we want to achieve through our soul. So this, in a way, think of it as a proactive thing. It's not a passive engagement. We engage with a very specific, with one or more. It doesn't have to be just one. And this sharpens and engages the field in a powerful and precise way. So, as to the manifestation, yes, we can see things manifesting in physical level, but when we engage our soul in precision and with high field strength, it doesn't have to be high, but at certain field strength, one can also receive feedback that things are happening. And this may require a little bit more effort, but nevertheless, having a preparedness to receive the feedback on the field. Essentially, if you are doing magnetical field, there is a reverse gravitational field coming in. So as we participate in this process, we start to become more interactive, understanding more precisely how we engage our soul in not just doing as well as receiving. So we'll extend more as we go, but I hope this helps everybody in this journey of soul connection. Thank you.
And of course, remaining humble in this whole process is very important as well. As we heard in the video, try to be humble, not to become arrogant in the power and the knowledge you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path as the church and the mosque. So yes, we're finding out about our energies, our powers, things we can do. But in this whole process, we're staying quite humble and not lording it over anyone or see what I can do or anything like that. You're discovering these abilities within yourself to elevate others, to serve others, maybe even elevating your own soul. So we're staying humble in this whole process. It's not that we're seeking power or seeking fame or seeking leadership or the rest of it, but we're here to serve the others, to serve humanity, and to serve the whole unicos in the creation. Thank you.
Hello to everyone. This is Andreas from the German-speaking community, Universal Council support member. And today we have a new question and answers with the Universal Council from Saturday, the June 15th, with Marie, Universal Council member for the Norwegian language, and Claudia from the Brazilian community. And today we show the first question and the answers from Universal Council members. And just an announcement for the next month. In the next month, there will be no question and answers with the Universal Council. So in July is no workshop. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. I need to set this up differently. I just realized I had the incorrect video, so we'll have to play it from the YouTube. Okay, you should be able to see that now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is an excerpt, looks to be about almost 10 minutes. And again, it's we'll put the link in the chat so that folks can have a direct link to that site. It's from the Keshe Foundation, Brazil. Okay, I'll play it now.
Yes. So the first question, I'd like to know what would be the maturity of the soul and why, when we reach this maturity, we are harvested for material reality?
Então, a Marie irá começar então com as perguntas e respostas. Primeiro, vamos tentar esperar o Dim ver se ele consegue para ele ler a carta. Então, vamos começar com a primeira pergunta. A primeira pergunta é assim: gostaria de saber o que é a maturidade da alma e por que, quando estamos maduros, somos colhidos da realidade material.
And the first answer, from the knowledge of the universe, as taught by Mr. Keshe, we know we have a soul inside, each and every one of us. This soul is a powerhouse, and it's pure in all of its intentions and emotions. For us to utilize the power of the soul, we need to prove our understanding of the totality through the life that we live on planet Earth. It's like having a Lamborghini in your garage. You will not give the keys to your immature child. First, when the child has matured and shown responsibility, it will get the keys to the car. It's the same with the soul. We don't give the keys to the soul. We don't get the keys to the soul until we have shown we have matured. The soul must have trust in us.
Então, a primeira resposta é: a partir do conhecimento do universo, conforme ensinado pelo Sr. Keshe, sabemos que temos uma alma dentro de nós, em todos e cada um de nós. Essa alma é uma casa de força e é pura em todas as suas intenções e emoções. Para utilizarmos o poder da alma, precisamos provar nossa compreensão da totalidade por meio da vida que vivemos no planeta Terra. É como ter um Lamborghini em sua garagem. Você não dará as chaves para seu filho imaturo. Quando a criança tiver amadurecido e demonstrado responsabilidade, ela receberá a chave do carro. É o mesmo com a alma. Não recebemos a chave da alma até mostrarmos que amadurecemos. A alma precisa ter confiança em nós.
And then there is another answer. The maturity of the soul is universal. The balanced alignment and flow of love of the universal creator, the soul of the man and the soul of physicality. Depending on our own ability to understand that we are part of this oneness, coming out of this illusion of separation is the only way to understand the soul's maturity in every level.
A maturidade da alma é universal. O alinhamento equilibrado e o fluxo de amor do Criador universal, da alma do homem e da alma da fisicalidade. Dependendo de nossa própria capacidade de entender que somos parte desta unidade. Sair desta ilusão de separação é a única maneira de entender a maturidade da alma em todos os níveis.
And there is another answer. In the universe, everything happens in the perfect timing. The maturity of the soul is when it reaches the perfect timing where the fields have found balance.
Então, outra resposta é: no universo, tudo acontece no momento certo. A maturidade da alma é quando ela alcança o momento certo, em que os campos encontram equilíbrio.
And there's another answer. I understand that the maturity of the soul is reached when we understand the totality and thus balance our soul in both dimensions, physically and on plasmatic level. Our soul of the man and the soul of physicality reaches the same dimension of energy level. Because if we achieve knowledge, we decide our manifestation at the plasmatic level or at the physical level, then achieving that maturity does not mean blinding physicality. It means controlling and deciding in what dimension to manifest what, how, when, and where.
E outra resposta é: entendo que a maturidade da alma é alcançada quando compreendemos a totalidade. E assim, alinhamos, equilibramos nossa alma em ambas as dimensões, física e no nível plasmático. Nossa alma do homem e a alma da fisicalidade alcançam a mesma dimensão de nível de energia, porque se alcançam no conhecimento. Decidimos nossa manifestação no nível plasmático ou no nível físico. Então, alcançar essa maturidade não significa cegar a fisicalidade. Significa controlar e decidir em que dimensão manifestar o que, como, quando e onde.
And there is another answer. Maturity of the soul is to recognize and accept the dimension of the soul as real and accessible at all times. Understand the position of accommodation of both the soul of physicality and soul dimension. We normally focus on our usual physical point of view, which makes it so difficult to release and let go. In understanding the accommodation of both, it is clear that you don't need to give up anything. It's just according to the environment you are in at the moment. One or the other has the lead and manifests accordingly.
Então, outra resposta é: a maturidade da alma é reconhecer e aceitar a dimensão da alma como real e acessível em todos os momentos. Compreender a posição de acomodação, tanto da dimensão da alma da fisicalidade, quanto da dimensão da alma. Normalmente, nos concentramos em nosso ponto de vista físico habitual, o que torna muito difícil liberar e deixar ir. Ao compreender a acomodação de ambos, fica claro que você não precisa abrir mão de nada. É só que, de acordo com o ambiente em que você está no momento, um ou outro tem liderança e se manifesta de acordo com isso.
So then we are on the second question. How do human beings end up in
Okay, that concludes our excerpt from the conversation with Claudia and Marie.
Thank you, Rick. So now we come to the point where I share my thoughts and what I've learned in the teachings from Mr. Keshe with you. We are present. Are we? Is it our soul in its soul position, field strength, that guides us to where we want to be or where we have to be to learn and to train what we have to learn? The beauty of the soul is that through the fields, there are no lies. Therefore, our physicality, our ego, certainly can. Last week, I had a discussion with a knowledge seeker about this issue, lying, cheating. It happens so quickly and so often in our daily lives. Still, a lie always comes back on us, one way or the other. We know that in the end, it's us who have to stand for what we did during our lifetime. If we understand this, then what reason could there be to not hold to the truth? Life gives us chances to learn, to understand, to grow. The only thing we should do is to choose the right path in physicality, and by that, the right path in our soul dimension opens up. In physicality, we really sometimes have to fight and struggle. In the other soul dimension, our soul supports us by sending you that feeling of, oof, what I'm doing now is wrong. Finally, it's our choice, our free will, which way we continue. Everything is connected to each other, so everything influences each other. This means that through the magnetical fields, we also can support each other. Do we allow our soul to open up, to expand, and by that to reach other souls and give them freely what they need? In everything I said till now, it's just words. Words which try to describe in physicality what on a soul level dimension is reality. Now, how is we are present? Can we accept the we as it is our oneness of souls? Do we understand the power of love in this oneness of souls. Sometimes I ask myself, where do I go wrong if there is a wish to join, for example, the foundation to help and to support in physical dimension, to work on this expansion on soul level through the preparation sessions. And every time when I go, okay, now I see a solution to help more, a price rises and makes it impossible again. Why aren't we able to manifest what we really need? Or is there maybe a reason that it is like it is? Maybe it's necessary to be on that other path and learn more. Maybe we're not ready yet. With all we learned till now, we should be able to expand our souls to do the work without the physical confirmation. Is there enough trust? Enough love? Enough not judging anyone else? Words are easy to say, like think good, be good, do good. And what if words are not enough? It's no more our words, it's our behavior that is the key to bring us forward to the next step. And don't worry, we all struggle the same, and we all try to get there. Together it's easier, so observe what's going on around you, all your friends, neighbors and family. As it's said, no soul will be left behind. So be alert and help wherever you can and where it's necessary. If we understand our unity on soul level, we feel that we are present as one soul, even if it's without the words. There's a lot of gratefulness in the we, together with you. A few years ago, my wife, my sister, her son, and 3 guys from a company I work closely with went to eat pizza. We sit on the terrace, enjoying a wonderful summer evening. We had a lot of fun and laughed a lot together. When I visited that pizzeria a few weeks later, the lady owner came and said to me, listen, to you guys was so great that we ourselves had to laugh inside the pizzeria too. She said she didn't laugh like that for a long time, just by observing. There was no alcohol, no drugs to create the situation, the dimension. Just a handful of people coming together, having a good time. There's no credit card where you can pay for that. Making each other laugh is precious and much more worth than making each other cry. If only those warmongers would understand. We wish all of you such precious times with your beloved ones, be it in summer or in winter time. Laugh as much as you can. Through love, you are beautiful creators. Thank we as one. We can go to the next slide, please.
Okay, this will be a reading from an extract from the 542nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of last Thursday. The topic of the teaching of today is a continuation of what we discussed last week about the magnetic field, magnetic rays within the plasma, where up to now we considered the brain of the man in one section is responsible for emotions and one section responsible for decision makings, some in one section regarding the physicality and the rest of it. Which section of the brain creates a movement in a finger, and which part of the brain is responsible moving the heart and the rest of it? And which part of the system of the body of the man is responsible to create continuous regeneration of cells? In a way, as is all these things exist within the plasma, which is the fundamental plasma of what you call the soul of the man, or whatever you want to call it, is the same characteristics. When, for example, the rays in the fields which are responsible for dynamism, for positioning certain plasmas within the structure of what we call fundamental plasma, motion of, direction of motion of what to absorb, what to reject, which fields to take from the environment. In the body of the man is converted into what we call part of the brain which is responsible for moving hands, the part of the brain which is responsible for feeding you, the part of the brain which is responsible to get rid of what it doesn't need in every shape or formation, part of the brain which is for emotion of laughter. So when the fields of the emotion of laughter, let's say in the plasma as a direction of the soul of the man, comes to become to materialistic side to find itself in a matter state conformation of existence. It doesn't matter if it's a brain of the man or it's a jelly type or is a gaseous structure. At the end of it, converts that line as an emotion, of, let's say, happiness, to a structure that can represent, can absorb, can identify, and can confirm happiness in physical dimension. So that ray, which is strength of happiness in the plasma of the structure of the soul of the man, when it comes in conversion into the brain of the man, to change into physicality, to show the happiness of the man, converts to a sound of laughter. Change of facial structures, tears and crying, maybe rolling on the ground from laughter and joy. Then we understand that does no matter where you go. This characteristics as a joy, it'll be carried. And in that position of transmutation, when you arrive, manifests itself as part of the structure of the control. So we understand that within the plasma, within the structure of the fundamental plasma, where a combination of the fields and rays make that plasma, they have the same characteristic structure as what we see in the body of the man, in the brain of the man. So the body of the man, in conversion, knows where to go. You see in your dreams or when you transmute, but not convert to change of physicality, your grandma. She tells you a joke. She gives you food with the aroma and odor which you liked. Remember her cooking for you. Then when it comes through the dimension of the plasma fields and converts into the matter state, you feel, you taste, and say, oh, I had a dream of the grandma last night, and I had this soup, and that taste, and that odor. Thank you.
In fact, you use the conversation of the rays in the dimension of physicality. For this reason, man will find out that all plasmas have the same strength. Does not matter if in the strength of your physical condition it becomes laughter by tickling, giggling, shouting and crying from joy, and another creature from another part of universe will feel the same joy through the same field of strength. It means the same. Then we understand how we do not need the physical matter to exist to enjoy the existence in the universe, because whatever we see as the attribute of the physicality, we enjoy the sight, the sound, the smell, everything else is within the structure of the plasma. And if this planetary system, this condition of the Earth, would have allowed and had creation in the condition of the other field strength, we would have known other emotions, other senses, because they are more into emotions and senses and condition of understanding that what is available to the man today on this planet. This planet needs this to satisfy the live conversation. On another planet, there are no cows to eat. There is no grass to lie on. There is no sunrise and sunset. That we can sit on the beach because there is no water, and then, but there are other choices. You cannot create this on another planet. But on that planet, there are other choices with differing strengths that we do not know on this planet. Because we don't have the conditions of it. We don't have the field strength of it. But it's embedded, it's active within the soul of the plasma of that man, the fundamental plasma. The beauty of it does not matter how many times you create a smaller or different or amalgamation of a plasma. You come to the same. If this is hard for you to understand, it's very easy for you to test because it's more or less on a magnetic field strength. It's not on something else. Get a piece of magnet and cut it into pieces. The field strength does not change. Each piece has the behavior of the same. You cut it in 2 halves, 1/3 and 2/3, in 10 pieces of equal amount, in 10 pieces of half, and 10 pieces of double. The field strength interaction is always the same. In metastate condition, as the weight you get attracted because you are lighter, but the field strength of the magnet does not change. And if we understand this, we understand the original plasma, the fields, which now creates the soul of the man, is another piece of magnet, which is cut from the bigger piece of magnet, which is the soul of the creator. It has the potential, it has all the fields within it to be, to create, to have interaction as a field of the creator. And once the scientists, once the man understand this, man has become the true citizens of the universe. I have made man in the image of myself, because the soul of the man is part of me, carries all the information and all the knowledge. It's the man who decided which part he wants to take to, or for his benefit. Thank you.
Then you understand what it means in true essence that each soul does not matter of infant, does not matter of the road sweeper, a king, a president, a scientist. In the size of the soul, all have their attributes the same. is which one we develop more, which one we encourage more. We encourage the abusive. We encourage to be ruthless and to be as abusive as we are, and we call ourselves a king, a leader. Because a just king cannot exist if he has just and correct, unless he chooses the path that in every condition and situation meets the attributes of the creator. If you want to be that, to show the strength of the knowledge, you tap in and you become a scientist and the other part. But you still have the potential. You still have the, what we call structure, to become abusive and become a king. But that's what you convert in the matter state, in the physical life. But the soul does not change. You just tap into that part. That is the strength that you think you can, and you're encouraged and monitored to be encouraged. Then we understand, all of us. This is what I said years and years ago. When you look from outside, no one knows if this is a soul of the sweeper or a king or a farmer or a scientist. Because in essence, it's the same. In what you take, the way you look, you took from the fields to create the part of the brain, which became the physical manifestation and control of your arms, your legs, physical movement. Man encourages that part of the fields, which is within it to become. And then when he mixes it in different ways with the physical condition, you get the behavior of abusive. You get different kind of behaviors, because the behavior does not come from the emotion. It comes from the interaction of the physical dimension and the field interactions within the structure of the soul of the man. It comes as perfection. Then man uses the physical dimension how to abuse this with the others, or how to use to abuse the others. Then we understand, and we become, and it's become important for us to move to the next step, to recognize these field strengths within the structure of the plasma, the soul of the man, that the physicality has no dimension in it. You are in a space as a plasma. You come across another plasma. This plasma needs. It's like it has got the SOS on it. I need this field to survive. It's the field strength which emanates, which creates for need. And you are the other plasma. You don't physical dimension and shape, but as a field, you feel this is I don't need, or I have too much of as a higher strength that you give. Then you understand how it works. In the scientific world, in the coming time, the way partially we have developed the technologies, we can measure these kind of emotions and see what part and where in the brain of the man operates in. In the coming time, we'll measure the field strength of the soul, which creates and carries these. And with these measurements, is not anymore by some meters, it's by essence of the emotion. How you feel, how that feeling is, and you communicate with the system and communicate with the person. Can you reach the option, and then you test yourself? In the past few days, something very strange happened, but not as strange as normal. I just keep on testing. I was walking to an ATM machine outside the building. As I was going to the building to go to the machine, I knew I had a sense that the machine is going to take my card. I said, but now I'm going to try. I know it's going to happen. I want to know that the soul of the structure tells me. I walked in, I put the card in, bleep. I had the card dropping in the box. And I said, I knew it means I felt the emotion of even the machine compared to a human soul. Thank you.
Because we don't need the emotion, the soul of living things. We have to understand the soul of the structure of anything. This is why in the teaching of last week, I referred even the cup we produce in a million, it still has that soul. These ATM machines are produced in hundreds of thousands nowadays. It wasn't something special. This is where we have to understand that we open the line of communications with the structure, the physicality, and we understand this. I referred to this years ago when I went in front of a horse and I knew the horse. I said to the horse, I know you are here to take my life, but not this time. I'm not ready for it yet. I know I feel of the horse, and everybody says, you were stupid. You knew it. Why did you get on the horse? I just wanted to prove that I know what's in the horse. My soul has a mission, has a way to live to complete. In 2010 or 11 was a horse. A few days ago was a what you call computerized electronic system, ATM machine. And this is how we should become. This is why people tell me, you do, why do you let people do this? Because I say, I know they have to show their own weakness. They have to show their own problem, not me. Recognition of the emotion, irrespective of the time, place, position, and entity, has to become part of the nature of the man. And don't forget, as you feel emotion, they feel yours. It's not one-way traffic. This is not superiority. It's just knowing to understand priority in the whole structure. Then you move to the next step. In understanding, in transmutation, I want to go. This is my emotion. I want to be in a warm place. I want to be at this position. I want to be near to the love of my child. I am in London. He is another part of the world. I move, I feel, I touch. I don't need to physically manifest myself to the child. But at points, you decide, I have to be there, out, till they decide they want to be in. It's the same as 20 years. You never had a dream of the mother who died 20 years ago, but you do today, because you create that field. You touch the strength field that the mother's field has come. Up to now, you have been messing around with everything else except the true fields, which connects to the mother. You need this, as I said in the space, to know. This field has no arms, no legs, but I know, I feel its existence. It's going to take from me, or it's going to give to me. What have I created to give? And what indication I showed that I want to take? Because this is what I need. In the scientific world of today, we call it McGrath positioning. Why do you get a position in a certain position? Because you give enough to what the community needs from you. And you take what you need from the community of the fields which are your within, and that gives you the balance. And once man understands this, man comes to the next step of knowledge and technology, which means, how do I move this plasma? Up to date, no scientist has ever explained how the Earth rotates scientifically. Why in the world of man we create motors to create rotation? Where do you don't need to? Is there a motor rotating the Earth? Is there a motor rotating the sun? Is there a motor rotating the whole galaxies? Is there a motor rotating the universe? Thank you.
Man has not understood the mechanism of the motion and the existence of the creation. As I said many times to knowledge seekers, so as long as you're happy with a motor, I give you a motor. And we tell me to make as many as you like. But it doesn't answer if any of you worked with these motors. You understand at a certain strength the motor stops. And the ball still goes. If the motor's friction doesn't stop it, there's a limitation of the field and the mechanical strength, because that's a matter state. In the plasma state, like the sun, you don't need a motor. How does the creation of the motion in essence, through condition of the plasma, is created? Why do we need huge amount of magnets to create the speed of the plasma in CERN to accelerate to neutron stars? Fields of the universe go millions of times faster, but we don't see any motors. Because man has not understood the essence, the field strength within the plasma, which create that emotion, which is the motion, a forward motion, a rotational motion. Why do all planetary systems rotate? And if we say we are made in the image of man, in the image of creator, in the image of a dog, or whatever, or a star, does the creator rotate the same? Is the soul of the creator a Sufi? And then we have to understand how. What is the cause of the rotation? And what rotation, and what speed, in which angle, and in what strength gives you certain directional motion and emotion in a given time, place, and position. One is the mass. And what is the weight? The mass, which is the connection of the soul of the man with the creator, never changes. The weight is the manifestation of the plasma on earth, in the shape of a man, in the water in the shape of a fish, on a mountain in the shape of whatever, and in another planet, another. So manifestation of physicality is the same as the weight of the man, where in essence the soul, the mass, never changes. Because it's the magnet, which is the same cut from a piece of the soul of the creator, and never changes in strength, attribute, and beauty. Now our scientists have to find out how to create that rotation. As I said, we go back to the very first teachings 10 years ago. Has anyone seen a rocket propulsion? Has anyone seen wings? Has anyone seen turbine engines on Earth? I think we have moved far enough to take a picture of it. None. But how does it rotate 1,600 kilometers an hour? Man has not found this, because if man would have found this principle, man would have made a perpetual system to produce energy, as you do with dams and wind and everything else to run the turbine. If man one day understands the power of the plasma, rotation of the plasma, and dimension and direction of the plasma, man will create such a plasma of turbines that creates billions of kilowatts. In the conference in Iran, we show for the first time the motion created perpetual in the universe, which leads to the motion. And depending on how you angle it, creates lift. It creates weightlessness. According to the position and time, it creates as much energy as possible. don't forget the first system ever registered by the company in Belgium, with the support of the Keshe Foundation at that time in 2000 and whatever. It says gravitational and power system. The power sits within the gravity, within the fields. And the field creates its emotion and motion. In the coming time and the system which is getting developed by the Keshe Foundation, we have no control system, but by the emotion. You want to move a craft, you think about moving it, you interact with the soul of the system, and the system moves, reduces weight, increases weight. It plays the game of the soul. It plays the game of emotion. Thank you very much. You can go to the next slide, please.
Hello to everyone. Here's Andreas again. Since a long time, we knowledge seekers are part of the teachings of Mr. Keshe, and since that time we observed a lot of unimaginable things, wonders, beautiful experiences. And since the last 2 years, what started in Linz, we have the devices, the fields, where we learn step by step to tap into universal fields, into different ones. And Mr. Keshe is teaching every week the newest updates, the newest understandings. And in the last half year, a special series started, the Transmutation preparation sessions. And for a lot of us, everyone knows what happens if you are part in these sessions, or what happens after it and what can happen, and things what we never could imagine before or understand before. And now we can do it. And for the next session on Friday, it's the last session of this series. Mr. Keshe announced a very special session. And I don't know exactly what everyone will experience, but I know it will be a further step, a further beautiful step towards the transmutation. And Mr. Keshe said especially that we have to use, everyone has to use 2 headsets, and that means one on the ears from left to right and one from the back of the head to the front of the head. And on the ears, the microphone needs to be on the right ear, and from the back to the front, the microphone needs to be on the front. In the best way, if it's on the left side, on the front. But if you don't have another chance, it's okay to have it on the right side, on the front. And that makes the experience much more intense. It's easier to make experiences, and therefore you need a splitter which is connected to the mobile phone, and then it's the 2 headsets are on both ends of the splitter then plugged in. That was my part for that. Thank you.
Yeah, in the participation of the next for the preparation of the next transmutation, there will be something different, which Mr. Keshe mentioned about. It is one of the things is that usually system used to be static, dynamic system. One part is dynamic, one part is static. And this time that's what you mentioned, it's supposed to be a dynamic system. What dynamic system does is that it has the ability to rotate the field, which, as you have heard from the review of the last Knowledge Seekers workshop, it creates a level of flexibility to the point that you have complete control over a vast range of fields, as it would be when somebody's using their soul to navigate spacecrafts through its interaction with the reactor. So this is believed to be a new experience, and so people are going to experience something new. So let's be prepared for it. That it will be a much more flexible way of doing things, and this is something that wasn't present before. And part of the reason Mr. Keshe went into this level of detail in the rotation, even invoked the Sufi dance scene to create a more vivid image of how one would engage such a rotation. How we can use this to create different effects. So what I would suggest is to think about how field rotation impacts what we know from various reactor systems that were discussed in the past Knowledge Seekers workshop long back. We don't have to recall every detail, but the general essence of it, and then see whether you can connect with, whether you can get further access through the soul of what that may mean to. This is an individual experience, so I can't say it's what it is to me would be the same for someone else. So we all have to explore this on our own, but there is a new possibility here. And as we have noticed from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop, it opens up a vast range of possibility in creating control systems. And so multiple threads of control can engage. You can lift, you can move forward at the same time, things like that, as he was pointing out in navigating this spaceship. So it doesn't have to be spaceship for us, but it was an example. But you can control a lot of things, or even controls other reactor system within our physicality. So have fun, enjoy it, and is there anybody else who wants to add to it? If not, we can move to the next slide.
Thank you. And here we have then a further series, the 2024 Transmutation Test series from July, August, September to October. And this is a very special series again, which is about 2-hour sessions in small groups, which is organized geographically depending on the participants, so that the participants from one time zone are together in one meeting. And it's very special because it's only 2 hours long, and Mr. Keshe said he will give instructions, could be every 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, to really guide and help you to go into the transmutation. And he said also that in the laboratory in Linz, they prepare already that that there is space for the team and for the people who could transmute to there, as I understood it. And so these are the last steps to the transmutation. And especially it's also to prepare every knowledge seeker really to be maybe also in Isfahan, to transmute to there or to Washington. And it's about to show the world leaders that borders are not important anymore and that they lose their control. And this is where we are going all together since a long time. And it's really a beautiful time where we are all in, exciting time, where we reach levels and understandings what we never had before. And it will be a part of our normal life sooner or later for everyone. And so who wants to participate, it's like the preparation session on the Keshe Foundation website, keshe.foundation, store products and 2024 transmutation test. It's 600 euros plus VAT. And who want to go into this adventure and especially has the real intention, for example, to transmute to Isfahan or to Washington and to serve humanity as messengers of peace. This is a very good opportunity and intention to be part of these meetings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. I'm just posting the link to the Keshe Foundation store for the transmutation test that he was speaking of. Okay.
Does somebody else wants to add something to it? I myself don't know if I can be part in the sessions, but I wish everyone only the best wishes and much love. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Andreas. Thank you so much. Thank you, Moshfik, for your beautiful saying. Thank you.
Okay, we can go to the next slide.
This is Moshfik again. I'm part of the Bengali community. Once again, we are going to go into a little bit into how some of the things we observe as we practice transmutation. And anybody is welcome to join in with their own experience of how this practice is coming along, because we can all benefit from their experience. So one of the things that we have done in our practice of transmutation, whether through the units available in LINS, as well as engaging our own fields, we know we can go to different places, and in some cases manifest as something different as well. And we have done, various trips outside the planet within our universe. Now, one particular observation that I have is that our body itself is a universe, and the soul is the central power source of this universe. There are many stars, cells we call them, many other things, planets we can call them, the organic molecule, whatever. We have different names for all of these things, unlike the universe outside, but nevertheless, it's a universe where our soul is the central power source. So given this situation, which is actually an interesting thing, because our soul in interaction with the environment creates the soul of physicality, and in turn manifested as a physicality. So it's a universe we created. And how is it that we feel helpless about correcting some of the situation or adjusting some of the situation? So this is an interesting point, because the trust in soul, in Bengali we call it Antobishwash. It's a literal translation, the confidence in soul. This is, a power source that created this whole thing, and we have yet to recognize what capacity it has. And in many cases, people don't even acknowledge its existence. But most of us in Keshe Foundation, we have a better clue. Now, developing this trust, once we recognize all the things that we see and the way our body functions, it's a miracle of an immense magnitude. How can we not appreciate and develop that trust in that soul of ours? As all of us in the physical presence on this planet, we want physical evidence, because that's soul is outside of this frame of reference of physicality, and something which is invisible is difficult for us to trust. The only thing we have been mentioned and we have been exposed to is that we trust the God and in a religious framework. And often it's attached to reward and punishment. But this creator of ours, creator of our physical body, here we cannot bring those reward and punishment type of limited framework. We have to bring in the love and the appreciation and the love manifested as physicality. How beautifully our fingers operate in when we hold a piece of material. All five fingers are working in harmony. These things, we are used to seeing it, so it's not a miracle to us. I mean, it's like right now I'm doing it too. But imagine the number of stars and planets, which are the soul, the cells and the molecules and that are in motion. I mean, here I'm only sticking to physicality, not even mentioning the fields. But it's a very complex operation. And this has been all made possible by this presence of the soul. The reason I'm talking about all this is this. How can we not appreciate it? How can we not love this creation and love the creator that created it? We don't have to look at the big creator, just this appreciation for the creator that is the soul. And wouldn't this love lead us to that trust that we are seeking? Ultimately, love and trust are the same thing. As I mentioned last time, know thyself and you know God. But first, know thyself. And this is the part that the creator within us, so that we are knowing. I think a better word would be trusting, loving. And so this is what we have to develop. And once that is there to a degree, what is interesting, that interesting possibilities show up in the horizon. In this universe, which the soul can expand itself to cover this universe, and this universe can be repositioned within the field of the soul. For that, we have also noticed that from our own observation that there is a mismatch between the fields of the body and the fields of, or the soul of physicality and the body and the soul of man. But we are also getting trained to transfer energy to these parts, adjust them, fine-tune them, feel the love in a way, in our blood, in our cells, in our every organ of our body. And this is as the energy transfer happens, notice changes. And these changes, what these changes do, this brings an appreciation and love that how well this is working. We are engaging consciously the two sides, the physicality and the soul side, and observing the transfer of fields between the two. And doing so, we have a deeper and literally deeper appreciation for the operation and the task and the enormous responsibility that the soul carries. And it's, I mean, in a way, it's hard to even imagine that we don't even recognize its existence. How can that be? Deepest love within us. And as we appreciate this love within us, wouldn't we be able to extend this love in our physical world even better to the peace that we so seek? Prosperity that's within us become the external prosperity that has been elusive so far. So this repositioning of our soul of physicality and physicality with respect to the soul of man is an integral part, even before we transmute physically and all that. A transmutation within. And then, transmutation with physicality and all that, I think will be a natural part of it. But, it's one thing that I have noticed in me is that it's the dominant factor of the soul of physical is saying, "Oh, I am in charge," and there's nothing there. No, it's not as bad as that. It wasn't nothing there. There is soul, but it's operating and all that. But repositioning the soul of physicality by adding humility to it is something that is, it's fascinating because, people generally have the idea that they're humble until you realize how much more to do, how much more there is to do. So this is what I'm finding out is that, there's some work to be done here. So it's not like blaming or anything like that. It's kind of like amusing almost, to the point that, yes, it is doing it. And so, we can adjust it and feel a peace. You laugh and feel a peace. It's a play. That's a playful act almost. And so nothing dramatic and too dramatic. And we don't have to do anything drastic in the physical world. Just a gentle, easy interaction of recognizing the love with laughter and joy, and so the bottom line is that I can see it's a habit that has been there for ages. So it takes a little bit. So it's getting there. I can tell it's getting there. How long? Well, as long as it's playful, it's fun. It may take a little bit, but it doesn't matter. As long as I see progress, I'm happy with it. So the other thing that is part of this is that we can actually do things with this energy field. we have talked about eating, not eating, and all that kind of things, and various other control health, correcting health, or I mean, certain anomaly, even simple like something on the skin that has been there for some while, things like that. So one can work on many things in this, universe of ours. And so this is one of the interesting things. And so the one interesting thing that Mr. Keshe added in the last knowledge seeker workshop, which have been trying. I mean, it's still not, there's not enough experimental evidence, but initial experiments indicate it can be very powerful. It is the rotation. You can amplify the field very rapidly by creating rotational field. Now, how do we create rotation? Mr. Keshe was saying, there's no motor, there is no motor in our body either. But things to do, move and work, we can even spin ourselves without any motor. The Sufis apparently use it for some soul elevation themselves. So, there is that part of the story that we all know about. Mevlevi Sufi dance, famous, the Turkish folks do it. But anyway, so the interesting thing is that now that we know that we can rotate the field, there is all kinds of possibility, because we can change the axis of rotation, have multiple fields rotating in multiple directions, and all kinds of effects we can create, and by which we can amplify gravitational effect as well as magnetical effects. And so this is something to explore, and I'm just giving some hints of some of the experiments, things I'm doing with it. And it's very interesting because it does tangibly change fields. And so, I mean, there is more work to be done, but nevertheless, one can do it. And, now let's bring it to something that we are familiar with. People love to dance, right? When they dance, one of the interesting motion in dance is, sometimes often is rotation. It's a rotation of the body. I mean, sometimes it's just partial rotation, sometimes it's spinning. And spinning is, twirling a girl and all that, that we see in dances, is very exhilarating. It's not only the person who is rotating, but the one who is making the rotation happen as well. And there is a lot of interesting things, one can get from it, but I won't go into too much detail here. We can go to get technical in terms of magnetic or gravitational field effect. But we know with, man and woman, there is already a lot of gravitational magnetical field effects, and we can use these to actually further, improve the whole male-female dynamics. But be that as it may, within us, with our soul of physicality and soul of man, there are applications as well. But if you remember what happens in dance, the effect of exhilaration is something that one can feel within oneself as we engage the rotational field. So some hint of how to create rotation. And, the other thing, this I was also talking about quite a bit in knowledge seeker workshop in Bengali, is, those of us who are in sports, especially with those of us who play with balls of various sorts, football, cricket ball, baseball. My favorite is table tennis. So all these things, you create a lot of spin in many of these sports, and spin is a very elusive action. You can you can not only rotate the ball on its axis, but it also changes the arc of motion of the ball. So it has levels at multiple field strength. So it's something to notice, because it's not just one field strength you're operating here. It's a cascading effect of fields at different strength. So in any case, so those of us who are familiar with spinning balls, some of the fun that we had in doing it is also can be translated as we engage those fields within us. I'm trying to, relate to our normal experience of rotation that we do. And those of us who cook, stirring the pot, we all know about this one. Stirring the pot makes the food taste good, doesn't it? So all kinds of motion, and and it's not that just the stirring the pot makes the food taste good. Those of us who cook will know how the cook is feeling as well. So all of these things come into play. So I'm just trying to make a connection between our normal day-to-day rotational activities to what kind of emotion involved in those, to what we can translate to some of the other emotions that we feel within, and some pointers to proceed as we engage the rotation. And this also relates to the coming Friday session with the enhancement unit. So I think it's another fun area to explore, and I'm just giving some technical ideas and relating it to daily activities that can make us get into it perhaps a little more easily and have fun doing it. It's another let's just spin in the game of transmutation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mosfeq. Very enlightening. We see this big word, transmutation. It looks magical, mystical, unachievable, something we'd have to work really hard on. But Mosfeq, isn't it the fact of the matter that we're all already doing this in the dimension of energy? Even my dog is doing it. I see when I had a dog, laying on the floor flat, the legs are moving as if it was running, and the snout is barking a little, poof, poof. And that dog is having a transmutation, but it's been ingrained in us to call it a dream, to call it a daydream. I think we should change it into, I had a transmutation just now, or last night I transmuted and I met the grandmother, or I did something else. So this shouldn't be strange, and this shouldn't be anything magical, because we're all already doing it. Now we're trying to move from that energy transmutation into a full physical transmutation of moving the physicality to another map location. But in the dimension of energy, we're all already doing it pretty frequently. So this should not seem like anything foreign or otherworldly or even magical. This is part of the capabilities of the structure of the man and every other creature that's been created. Thank you.
As you said, it's not it's not a magic. It's as magical and as magical and miraculous as moving our 5 fingers to grab a ball and spin it. It's really that. I mean, we do it all the time, and the daydream, of course, is often not encouraged in our, what do you call it, regimented methods of learning. Or I mean, we do get into it. I mean, when sometimes, when we get involved in not in sports as such as a spectator in the sport, we actually become part of the sport. As what they call vicariously, we get involved in this kind of things. But I think our involvement as a spectator in sports has that element, but daydreaming that we used to do when we were little, I think was better. So what Mark just said about daydreaming is that although we may not, as adults, we are much more sophisticated and we don't daydream, we don't have to think that way. What we can do, we can transport ourselves to when we're young and unconditioned and not brainwashed. We can retrieve those memories and use that as reference material for our transmutation effort. So I think this is a good thing that you pointed out, daydreaming, because as a tool, we can use it. But I think, we still do want to do it, but sort of accepted way of kind of like daydreaming is kind of like spectator sports, which I personally am not a big fan of it, but that's my own peculiarity. But getting involved in sports and things like dance or whatever is much more fun than watching it. There's no question about it. So we have all participated in some ways, and even some people do dance in the bathroom, I know. So all of these things, Shweta may be able to add a few things here because she loves to dance. So anyway, so the thing is,
Yes.
this is we can
Thank
okay, go ahead, Shweta, if you
Thank you, Mushfiq. Really, I just wanted to say that yes, I dance like that, like a Sufi. I feel like that. Thank you, Mushfiq. So beautifully you said, Mark. I will say that a poet said, when I turn, like maybe anyway, I returned and I said, now I am here. There is a poetry. Now I am here, and don't call me again from this old past, old name. Don't call me. There is no address of me anymore there. Don't call me you, not the lover anymore. I don't appreciate your love in that way. Now I understand. I don't need a lover like you. I know how my heart is. My heart has opened in a way that I understood the beauty of love now. And then here, I reached here, and there's no sin for me anymore. No sin. So I will say I am and we are present. A little story that how you U-turn. Transmutation, if we say this word, as Mark said, that yes, we go through all these things always. When there was two friends, close friends. One was a kind of a greedy and another was a kind of honest person. But they are two friends. And one day the greedy friend heard about some pot of gold in the jungle, and whoever can find it, as you know, it is the ultimate treasure. And they run towards the jungle. And the honest friend also ran with him. So he made himself like that, He also wanted that gold. Why? He doesn't know. But the greedy man, he was with him, and they ran into the forest, the jungle, the green jungle. And then suddenly, what happened is the honest person put his feet on a thorn, a big thorn, and he shouted, "Oh my God, what has happened? Why?" He asked, well, I will say God or the soul, that why it happened to me? Why always it happens to me? Why? Why the thorn is for me. And the man who ran away towards the goal, the soul says, the God says from within that, this thorn is a U-turn for you. There's a ditch in front of you. I have saved you to live and love forever, eternal. There was a ditch and poisonous snake. And what about that person? The person is going to the goal, and you know how this material world reacts with it. That was an illusion. It was a maze, and he will be running forever after he has to, as we know what happens when we follow this birth and death life. And everything, every ideas, every thought, everything, even kindness comes up with this energy of money. But should be a money. So then, but here, the honest person, you turn like all of us and seen this jungle and found the way to the golden city, the soul. As Mosfik, sorry, was saying that Atmavishwas. Trust, sorry, I apologize. Trust in the soul. Live like a mortal. Maybe sometimes he has to leave the body because it is a vehicle. But then the soul is always immortal. As I understood now, that I told my daughter that my father is an immortal, My grandmother is an immortal. I wanted them like that. Why? They died so many years ago. But they are immortal for me. I always see them, as souls. They always reside in my heart, this new heart I have. So I will say, beautiful soul, thank you, Moshi. Thank you, Mark, again, that trust your soul. This is the point of transmutation. Turn out with this maze, from this maze, don't build it more complex. This will be a baggage. Thank you. Thank you so much for hearing me. Anybody else, any beautiful soul wants to add or discuss something about this understanding? Oh, you are welcome.
Well, I could say that when Moshfek was talking about sports and spin and balls, I started to remember all the different sports and how as children and even as adults, we learn about spin in a way through various sports that have balls, like ping pong, for example. You learn about how to put spin on the ball so that when it hits the table and your opponent tries to hit the ball back to you, it might spin in a strange direction and take them by surprise. And you learn all the ways you can put spin on a ball. Similar with billiards or pool, there's oftentimes you need to put a spin on the ball, and that's the difference between the expert and the novice. The expert will know how to put the spin on just right. Again, in other sports, even volleyball, for example, when you make a serve, you can put a spin on the ball, and you learn that if you put a certain spin on it, it goes one way, and another spin, it goes another way. And then we learn, in virtually all the sports with balls about spin. Look at the basketball player that spins the basketball on his finger. And that's kind of the sign that he's an expert, because he's able to do that. It takes skill and practice to be able to balance, to attain that point of balance with the basketball on your finger. And in a similar way with the Sufi dancing, it's a balance not only of the physicality in the spinning, dancing, Sufi dancing, but also it's the attention is going inward, not outward. It goes inward to the source of attention inside, which is always at the center. So as you're spinning, you can have access to that center because it's always at the center of the rotating object. So in that way, the Sufi dancing can help to make that connection. And it seems like if you're a Sufi dancer, in fact, you have to make that connection in order to spin for a couple of minutes and then stop and not have any effect on the physicality. They're not falling over or dizzy or anything like that. They're completely centered and present. And that's like the objective of that dancing in a way. So I thought I'd just add those points, and spinning is fun besides all that.
Yes, my dear Rick. Beautifully you explained. Yes, really. First when I started the dance, I felt really dizzy falling here. But now I have this, when I start I spin a little, for a minute or two or three, and I stop with the focus, the core inside me, with the love inside me. So thank you, my dear Rick, for your beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you. Mark is saying, would like to meet Moshfik on the table tennis court in dimension of energy. Would you like to play and practice, Moshfik? Shall we? Let's test together. Smile. Of course. Thank you.
That's a great idea. I like that. That's good, Mark.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Well, now it's so simple. It's easy to understand that. Yes.
Let's see whose spin is better. Okay, it's a game of spin from now on.
Test accepted.
Accepted. Thank you for this joy, beauty, and all that is love. Now, now we can move to the next presentation, my dear.
I think on the tennis court, they call it love in one of the scoring. In fact, maybe not table tennis, though. Okay, let's carry on.
Here we bring the needs and wishes, beautiful souls, from your community to the Universal Council as one planet, one nation, one race for justice and world. So beautiful, and you are welcome, welcome, welcome so much. Suswagatam to this beauty and totality, my dear. Share, discuss, add whatever you like, my dear. Here, welcome again.
Sweta, it's Dean here. May I say a few words that
you don't have to ask, my dear.
Okay. So as Rick and all you guys were speaking, Mosfek and Sweta, you're all speaking about this transmutation. You're all speaking about spheres, balls, And I was looking around the location that I'm present in, and everywhere I look, there's spheres, there's balls, there's a book that I as a photographer that I did many years ago, and on the front cover there's I took an image of some water droplets that were captured or suspended like little worlds within the thread of a spider's web. This was taken early in the morning. The dew had just developed, become, and I went out very early in the morning and I captured this. I took this image of these little droplets of water suspended on, looked like on a very long thin thread, like a spider's web basically. And being a photographer and being in a macro condition, so the actual water droplets themselves were very, very small. And at the time, I knew very little of plasma and very little of the knowledge. But over time, I've come to understand that little ball, that little glistening ball, and every single one of them holds a little plasma within inside itself. And it's its own field strength, its own little dimension, suspended through the actions or interactions of another creature. And this suspension was from a viewpoint of a human being with a tool, which was a physical camera. So through the viewpoint of the physical eyes, the manifestation of physicality, and then using a tool to capture an image of a suspended piece of water, a droplet. And this droplet could represent this cosmic adventure, this understanding that opens up as a plasma from a very small thing. It could be, as Mr. Keshe would say, a subatomic atom, to a universe. And everything within it is all captured, is all placed, positioned, and transformed and transmuted. And you view it through your physical eyes. And the manifestation of it, we then can utilize in many different ways. And this is one object, one observation of a situation that happened in a past moment. But as soon as I bring the emotion forward into my present moment, that that image crystallizes, it becomes more, the emotion of it transcends and takes me back to that position. So this is one aspect and one little bit of a fraction of a viewpoint in a room in this moment. And that emotion is captured within what I've just spoken about. It's a plasma. And that creation all started from a soul interaction that's taken place, time, place, and position, in another moment. And if time has no meaning outside of planet Earth, then this is an instant communication. And I'm now in a slowed field of a matter state condition, re-establishing a connection point to this emotion. And that's, as I said just now, that's one emotion attached to one viewpoint I have within the totality of this room. As I've spoken about earlier, there are many, many spheres. I have the spheres of the Keshe Foundation spaceship that's magnetically twisting and turning in this very moment, creating wonderful colors as it twists, because it's got LED lights on it, and it's moving in a magnetical form at the moment anti-clockwise. And then I have the moon, this white globe that has filled with some GANs in it, and it's rotating in a slower condition than the actual spaceship that's floating in the magnetic fields. And the moon, as I view it now, it seems to slow down as I think of it. It's stopping. And then I let go and it speeds up again. There are other experiments around me. I have many, how can I say, ping pong balls, table tennis balls that have been used in experiments that are filled with intention and the knowledge that has been shared by the foundation. So the needs and wishes, of the community, which is present, the knowledge that is present, is universal. The intention can be from a physical point of view, but also through the knowledge that we've come to understand, we can transmute this to an emotion and then go past the emotion. And what are we left with? So I see a one planet, one nation, one race. And within the structure of the zero, of the one, I see white space. In this moment, on this page. And we have a blank canvas to work from in this moment. And so when we take the emotion and we make a need or a wish for others, then we create a condition that serves, that gives to the others, that they can receive what they need. And so the words spoken, the knowledge shared, the intention set, the seed that is delivered for each and every one of us in this moment can be a need, can be a wish. And this could be for one race, this could be for one nation, this could be for one planet. And most definitely for world peace. And that peace starts within each and every single one of us in this moment, in whatever you understand or you would like to transmute your emotion, or go beyond the emotion to the blank space and create a canvas of beauty that delivers what you need it to deliver in this moment, whether it's a drop of water of an intention that was dropped into an ocean and then becomes the ocean itself. And that was within a sphere of planet Earth. And that's in the matter state. Open the emotion, the thoughts, transcend the intention and bring it to a further viewpoint. Or not, or limit yourself to an interaction that is present within your thoughts and intentions within a dynamic field, a sphere of rotation of a blue planet called Earth. It's your ability and your understanding and your thoughts that create as you wish, as you need. And what we need in this moment is very much linked to our environment, our location that we are present in. And as we spoke about the transmutations, this is going to unlimit the ability of a soul present in physicality to transmute and be present somewhere else in the zero-time communication. And as Mark was saying, we do this anyway, and all the other beings, all the other souls that are present are doing this too in this very moment. We're just a little bit ignorant to our own capabilities, our own beauty of the soul that sits within the structure of man. So within your community, bring your need and wish forward and create the beauty that brings peace to each and every soul that is present in this moment. Thank you all. Thank you, Sweta. Thank you, Rick. And thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Dean. Beautifully you said. Thank you so much. And I have also a wish for India, people of India, all beings of India, to join the one community, one planet, one race, one nation. And this is justified for all that is. And I wish for them, for Hindustan, India, to be in peace in every level of understanding, to feel the universal love. Thank you. I am and we are present. Thank you, my dear. If there is any sharing anymore, welcome.
Well, the only thing I can see in our chats is a comment from Carolyn in the YouTube, and perhaps it can be addressed by the members of the Universal Council. And it's already been addressed in many ways by what's already been said. Carolyn says, I used to love to dance in circles, but now just weak and exhausted. Life is not nice if one tries for decades to heal from family scapegoating trauma. So in that regard, which is, you know, an issue that many people experience on this planet, is going through family traumas and the pressures of family during life, and that can bring, you know, illness to your physicality and other ailments and so on. So I'm wondering what kind of advice or what kind of comments would come from the Universal Council for that.
I can think of one, which is play with kids and dance with them. And that's one of the easiest ways, because they are connected. Through them, we can connect to this playful energy and get back to our dancing.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. One thing that occurred to me is that in a way she's doing what she wants to do in this moment, which is connect with this group, connect with this meeting, and, you know, try to maybe, I don't know how she connects, and she absorbs some of that energy or gets some insights or whatever, provides a break from that family trauma experience. But in any case, it's I've seen her name many times at this location. So maybe part of getting over that trauma is, for some people at least, maybe to remove the identification with that family and consider the greater family of of knowledge seekers, for example, is a good family to hook up with, or other families out there that are working with in a peaceful manner to help people get through their traumas and to provide an alternative viewpoint. But in any case, she's chosen to be with the knowledge seekers for this period of time. So I think that indicates one way to help with that trauma situation. There's been lots of advice or insights that have been given during these meetings, and it definitely shows a way forward for anyone in humanity and for all of humanity at the same time. So both the micro and macro levels get handled in a way through the spiritual energies, through the soul energies. Anybody else have something to say about that? The family
I want to say
scapegoating trauma.
Yes. Yes, I also want to say to Caroline, my dear sweetheart, that this trauma of eons, this has been formulated like this. And we are like running in the maze of trauma. The family, the relationship, the country, everything. And then everything boils down to this ego. What I am not able to do that. This is my ability to handle this trauma. But why? Respect yourself too. Respect what you are. You know the truth. Don't run in this maze. We have all this. So I will say, come out of this trauma, my dear. We are all having it. But dance again. This is your desire. Spin again, my dear, with love and respect yourself. Be gratitude to each of you, each of yourselves even. This is like a teaching, always. Then you can help all humanity, always. Value that, respect that. All living beings live like a human being. After so many years, so many eons of this traumatized, like a maze runner, as we say. So spin around, turn into this inner realm, inner infinity of yourself. Then you can understand. We have gone through all this, going through also. We stopped kind of running in this maze. We understand the illusion. So it will drain the energy, drain always the energy. I was sad, I was angry, I was always sobbing, and still I considered myself as a poet. And when I draw something, I draw like I'm a very powerful woman, kind of that. That was the inner realm of me, drawing, singing, dancing. But outside, at that time, I was sobbing. I was angry. I was, blaming everybody. And you are the person who's drained my energy. You are the fake lover. You are this. But now I understand. Enter into the green jungle. My dear Caroline, start to dance again. We know this maze is here, but we have to turn around. Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Sweta, I'd just like to say something as well,
yes.
if I could. So as we were speaking those words, you were speaking those words, and so the children they're in a time, place, and position. They're in a condition. They have a soul that's present. I just watched a child out of the window that sort of walked over to this it's like a child's apparatus where they can swing, or they can climb a ladder, and then they can go down a slide. And this child, the joy and happiness in the face was there was nothing else other than to be present with this condition, this emotion of wanting to climb the ladder. And she placed one foot on the bottom rung, and her hand a little bit further up, and then took that first step. And she had a great big smile on her face, and there was no fear. The anticipation of the beauty of getting to the top and letting that beautiful feeling you have when you are on a slide and you let go, you're at the top and you let go, and all of a sudden the butterflies, the sensations in the stomach start to tingle, and you let yourself go, and you trust into the gravitational pull, and you receive that elevation. As you go down, you receive the elevation of the interaction of the emotion that is giving the physicality a beauty. And children do this very naturally. Always remember, everything is for a reason. And the condition, even if it seems very bad, it's always set as a guidance from the soul to give you a very beautiful position to elevate from. Mr. Keshe would always say, go to the positive. Always look to the positive. So in any situation, no matter how difficult it becomes, always take one small plasma of it that you can bring into focus, that takes you to a position of joy and happiness for you, whatever it is. And with a soul interaction, you can be transmuted in a moment. The emotion of the elevation, of the excitement of something. It's like many people when they you noticed, sorry to change the subject a little bit from the children to the opposite. So when you get people that have been put in prison, and for whatever reason, and they've had these big emotional traumatic conditions in their lives that has affected them, but the soul knows. And then when they go into this position and everybody thinks that they're locked away from long time, and they in the physical form, but many of them, as they're locked away and they spend hours and hours in these boxes, they actually transform and transmute. They grow as a person, many of them. They become very plasmatic, elevated souls who start to imagine things and place themselves in positions because they have no choice in the physical form. So they transmute the emotion, the thoughts, and they start to travel, as we all do each and every day or night. So the emotion that is set is your choice in this moment. And the beauty of your soul, once you actually tap into its essence of creation, will place you in time, place, and position wherever you need to be, that will give you what you need in that moment. Have the beauty and the courage to be present with yourself in the moment, and see if you can transcend your time, place, and position, transmute your feelings, your emotions, and be present wherever you need to be. And it would be a very beautiful thing if you understand that each and every soul has a time, place, and position connected to each and every other soul, and all souls are present for each other, always, constantly. And so when you tap into this knowledge, which is the knowledge that's being shared here each and every week, continuously for years and years and years, for you to understand the beauty of something that is within you in this moment. And when you really connect to it, like many of the guys are here, when they transmute, when they go into these sessions, they really travel. They really become the soul that can be present anywhere. You have that ability in you, and this awakened condition, this beauty, can take place in a second, or it can take a lifetime, and it's up to you. And the beauty lies within your structure, within you, the soul of man, which is unlimited and a beautiful creation to be shared with all. Be present with yourself. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sweta.
Oh, thank you, my dear. You have said that be present where it's needed. So beautiful. Thank you. And the alignment in these sentences, beautiful. Rick, now we can go to the next Oh, there's because of as the time is completed for today, I will do this presentation in the upcoming One Planet, One Race, One Nation for Justice and World Peace, the Green Door, of course. Thank you. And now we are here to serve, not to be served, the Universal Council. Thank you, my dear beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Swagatam into the beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome, welcome to the beauty of what that is love, of where that is love and all that is love. Welcome to the beauty and totality of all lovers, the energy that is love. Thank you. And I admit that sometimes I still fell when I dance. But then, thank you for being here always, my dear. Jump in, follow. You can do merge with Keshe Foundation, the beauty, the Keshe family, and the beauty and totality, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sweta, and thanks to all the members of the Universal Council for another wonderful show here today. They do lots of work in the background to make sure everything is presented, and we appreciate their work on many levels. Okay, that completes our 331st One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. And our next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which starts tomorrow, Wednesday, June 19th at 7 a.m. Central European Summer Time. And people are welcome if you're a newcomer or an old-timer to the plasma technology. We try to work on the practical side in that workshop and welcome any experiments or questions that people have. Okay, let me see. I think that's it, other than the Knowledge Seekers Workshop will be coming up on Thursday, June 20th. And we expect that to be at the same 9 a.m. Central European Time as per usual with Mr. Keshe. Okay, I think that's almost all for today.
Have some dance.
Now is the time where the practical side of the dance comes in.
Be enjoyed.
This is
beautiful.
Time to dance and spin. Yes, indeed. So here's a 1-minute interval when we all have that opportunity with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And goodbye, everyone. And thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop. Also, our background image was from Jedi Simon. Thank you for that. And thank you, Mark, for co-hosting as well today. Okay, let's begin. Let's make sure the sound is engaged, and away we go. Bye for now.